वंदे श्रीगुरुं नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांता स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंदा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Welcome all of you for our today's Bhagavad-Gītā session, Bhakti Shastri course. We were reading second chapter. Anybody can summarize till what point we have reached? This is the verse which we'll be discussing today. Can someone summarize till now? Okay. Anyone?
Arjuna expresses his grief and confusion.
Yeah.
He has various points for what he should
Can
fight.
somebody tell what are those points? 5 things he told that I don't want to fight this war because of these 5 reasons. What are these 5 reasons? First reason was being compassionate towards the living entities who are going to die. Second reason,
Loss
loss
of
of enjoyment, right. Third reason,
destruction of family.
Destruction of family traditions. Fourth, fearful of sinful reactions. And fifth reason is coming in this chapter as indecision. He was not able to decide whether to fight this war or not. So these are the doubts which Arjuna has. So last time we discussed some part of this verse. Let us go into details now. So in this verse, Arjuna actually accepts Krishna as his guru. Till now there was some friendship going on, but here in this verse, Krishna accepts truly from his heart that I consider Krishna as my guru and let him educate me whether I should take up this war or not, what is right for me or not. So this verse illustrates the principle of acceptance and service to Guru as proven by the Shruti statements. Tadvijnanartham sagurumeva vigacches samitpani shotyam brahmanishtam. So Mundaka Upanishad states to understand these things properly, which things? The confusion which Arjuna is in right now, whether these decisions are good or not. So to understand these kind of perplexities, one has to humbly approach with firewood in hand and a spiritual master who is learned in the Vedas and firmly devoted to the absolute truth. So a person has to approach very humbly, as we see in the pastime of Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami also, when they approach Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they're carrying in their mouth and in hands pusha tips, denoting that how humbly they're approaching, that they are considering themselves lower than even these kind of grasses. So taking grass in their mouth and humbly approaching, that was the reason why they used to keep grass in the mouth and hand, so that they consider themselves more fallen than these tender creatures. So in this way, that is a way to approach a spiritual master. Humility does not only mean that we show off our insensitive nature, no, that we cannot artificially show up humility. Humility is a practice in which even if a person is managing big projects, but if he's having a consideration in his heart that whatever my post is there in company or society, but if he has this consideration in his heart that I'm just a servant of Krishna, right now this is the role I have to play. Humility does not only mean that one person comes and blasphemes our society or us, our family, and we just keep quiet Arjuna was a warrior. He was very humble in front of devotees, never showed up that I'm the great personality. But when it came to fighting, he was the hero and he fought for Krishna's pleasure. Bhima also fought for Krishna's pleasure. So when there is no personal agenda in our whatever activities we do, and we do it as a service to God, whether that involve the involvement of mode of passion to fight a war, whether it involves a goodness so that we can study nicely. So such kind of endeavors can be done in a way that is pleasing to the Lord without our personal agendas. That is actually true humility. So in this way, a person approaches spiritual master. Like we see how our acharyas have done so many great works, but they never considered themselves as the main doer. They always believe that this is happening because of my mercy of my spiritual master. And one cannot be sentimental towards these things. Sentiments can be there, but we should not be sentimental. Sentiments towards the spiritual master can be there, but a real service attitude can be showed when spiritual master is absent physically. He is not present in our current eyes. He is not there in front of us, and what we do at that time and how our endeavors are still directed towards his pleasure, that is humility. So Arjuna at this point considered Krishna as his guru, and he's saying, I do not see who can remove this sorrow. Nahi prapashyami mama upanidya yashchokamuchoshanam indriyanam avapya bhumo asapattam riddham rajyam suranam apichadipatyam. Rajyam suranam apichadipatyam. I do not want sovereignty over the demigods. I do not want unrivaled kingdoms on this earth. Avapya bhumo asapatnam riddham. Asapatnam riddham means sapatnam means rivals. Asapatnam means unrivaled kingdoms. And it is prosperous riddham. And want to attain such luxuries on this earth or above earth. When my senses are drying up because of this sorrow, I'm not able to decide. I cannot see properly what direction should I go. So nahi prapashyami mama puladya. So Krishna says, but you have a friendly relationship with me, not one of respect. You have a friendly relationship with me. You don't respect me as a guru. Therefore, how can I make you a student? You should thus surrender to someone like Ved Vyas, whom you greatly revere. You consider me as a friend. You don't consider me as a guru. So that's why Arjuna says, I do not see even one person at all in all the three worlds, except you, Krishna, who can remove my sorrow. So I consider you as my guru today. I do not know anyone more intelligent than yourself. Even Brahaspati, who is the guru of all the demigods, I consider you only for this solution. Therefore, to whom else should a one who is full of sorrow surrender? Arjuna is answering Krishna's words. Due to that sorrow, my senses have dried up completely, just as intense summer heat dries up completely a small pond. A small pond of water gets dried up very easily because of intense summer. So my sorrow has dried up. My senses have been dried up because of this sorrow. So please consider my request and please instruct me. In this way, Arjuna is requesting Krishna. Krishna says, no, now you are full of grief. But if you fight by conquering the enemy, you will attain a kingdom. Absorbing yourself in the enjoyment of that kingdom, your grief will disappear. Krishna says that you are feeling grief because you right now don't have any kingdom, but now you will be fighting. And while fighting, when you conquer the enemy, you will get some kingdom. Arjuna says, no. Even if I attain a kingdom over the whole earth or sovereignty in Swarga, controlling all the devatas, my senses will still be dried up because I do not know what is right for me right now. So please consider and instruct me. Srila Prabhupada says, Academic knowledge, scholarship, high position, etc. are all useless in solving the problems of life. Help can be given only by a spiritual master like Krishna or a true representative of Krishna. Who is a bona fide spiritual master? Kiba vipra kibanyasi shudra ke na hoye, ei Krishna tattvavita sei guru hoye. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is said, who is actually a guru? Whether he is a Brahmana, whether he is a sannyasi, Kiba Kibra, Kiba sannyasi, Shudra ke na hoye, whether he is a Shudra, ei Krishna tattvavita, the person who understands Krishna's tattva and he can explain to others, then he is a guru. Satkarma nipuno vipuro mantra tantra visharada. A Vaishnavo guru na sasyad. Sa Vaishnavo sapacho guru. There is another verse which is stated in literatures that a person, a Brahmana, might be very expert in performing sacrifices and will be expert in understanding Vedas. But if he is not a devotee of Krishna, he might be very expert in ritualistic activities. But if he is not a devotee of Krishna, devoted to him, A Vaishnava, Guru na sasyad. He is not a spiritual master. He is not a guru. That is being stated in scriptures. Only a Vaishnava should be considered a bona fide guru, who is considering Krishna as his supreme Lord, who is engaged in the service of the Lord. He should be considered as a bona fide guru. The problems of material existence, birth, old age, disease, and death. So there are many problems in life, but all of these problems are temporary. What are the permanent problems which a person should think of removing in his life to counteract those problems is birth, old age, disease, and death. They cannot be counteracted by accumulation of wealth and economic development, but taking the shelter of a bona fide guru can help us in elevating these problems, eliminating these problems. So Sanjay says to Dhritarashtra, Sanjay said, having thus spoken to Rishikesh, Gudakesh, afflictor of enemies, telling Govinda, I will not fight, became silent. So Arjuna became silent after telling this to his indecision to fight to Krishna. In seventh, he accepted as Guru. Then eighth, he said that I am not sure what to do at this position. Please instruct me. So evam uktva Rishikesham Gudakeshena Parabtapa. Nayotse iti Govindam uktva tushnim babhuva. After telling Rishikesh and Govind, the two names of Krishna being highlighted here, O Rishikesh, who is the controller of the senses, O Govinda, who tends the cows and the senses, please try to control my senses now. I don't know where my senses are going. So please instruct me. So in this way, telling this to Krishna, he sits down and became silent. Dhritarashtra must have been very glad to understand that Arjuna was not going to fight and was instead leaving the battlefield for the begging profession. So Dhritarashtra must be thinking, now Arjuna has become silent, so he will not fight and he will go for begging profession. Sanjay, by mentioning Rishikesh, the controller of the senses. So Sanjay addresses Krishna in two words, Rishikesh and Govinda. So why Sanjay indirectly was mentioning Krishna as Rishikesh? Because he is the controller of the senses, and which indicates that the Lord will make Arjuna manifest intelligence to engage again in the battle. By using the word Govinda, the knower of all the Vedas, he suggests that the Lord will make Arjuna accept his dharma to fight. In this way, Sanjay extinguished the hope which arose in Dhritarashtra's heart of gaining the kingdom for his own sons. Tam uvacha Rishikesha prahasan iva bharata senayor bhayor madhye vishidantam idam vacha. So the chariot was standing in between the two armies, senayor ubhayor madhye, and Arjuna was depressed there. At that time when Arjuna spoke these words, Rishikesh, Govinda, he started smiling slightly, not fully smiling, not laughing, but slightly smiling. Prahasan iva bharata. Hasan means to smile. Prahasan means slightly smiling. Iva means like smile. It was not like full smile which can be seen by all others, but a small kind of smile. Rishikesh, smiling slightly, spoke these words to the depressed Arjuna in the midst of the two armies. Laughing at him, if Krishna would have been laughing at him, what would happen? Laughing at him as a friend, Krishna could put Arjuna in an ocean of embarrassment. So if Krishna would have smiled very like a laugh, then he would have put Arjuna into an embarrassment because of his unworthy actions which Arjuna is putting forward right now. However, because now Arjuna took the position of a student, laughing would be improper. If Arjuna would not have become a student or a disciple, then laughing would have been proper. But now Arjuna has taken the position of a student to learn, then laughing doesn't require it. So he smiled a little bit. Krishna suppressed the laugh by closing his lips and instead he slightly smiled. The Lord of the senses was previously controlled by the words of Arjuna. In the first chapter, Arjuna said, "Take my chariot in between the armies of both the people, both the armies. Take my chariot in between." And now he became the controller of Arjuna's mind. And again, out of love, for the benefit of Arjuna, he will speak. Arjuna's dejection and Krishna's offering consolation to him were seen directly by both armies. So this scene has been like when Arjuna and Krishna are having interactions, this scene has been seen by both the armies. As Sanjay is narrating this to Dhritarashtra also. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Ashochayan Anvashocastvam Pragyavadam Shabhashashe Gatasun Agatasumscha Nanushocanti Pandita. The Lord said, "You, while lamenting for what is not worthy of lamentation, Anvashocha Ashochayan. While lamenting for what is not worthy for lamentation, you are speaking the words of wisdom. Pragyavadam Shabhashashe. So you are lamenting for what is not worthy of lamentation, and you are speaking like a very learned person. Krishna says, the wise men, those who are Pandita, they do not lament for the gross body or the subtle body. They are worried only for the destination of the soul. So Krishna will start verse from 11 to 30. He will describe about the knowledge of the soul. So this is the entire, these 20 verses will be actually telling a lot about our soul. So the wise men do not lament for the gross body or the subtle body. Gross body consists of, it will be mentioned in the 7th chapter of what gross body is. Bhumi rapon lo vayu khammano buddhirevaja ahankariti amme bhinna prakriti ashtada. There are 8 elements, 5 are gross and 3 are subtle. So the soul is totally different from these elements, and the wise person doesn't lament for the gross body. As Arjuna stood silently, the Lord began deriding his intelligence. O Arjuna, you are lamenting for the sons of Dhritarashtra who are not even worthy of lamentation. Those who are wise do not lament for the gross bodies from which the life heirs has departed. The life heirs will depart from the bodies of Bhishma and Dhritarashtra and Duryodhana. So don't lament for the gross bodies, nor the subtle bodies for which the life heirs have not departed. So what happens actually? You can read the note also. Whenever there is a gross body and a subtle body, gross body people leave here only at the time of death, and it is burnt or cremated or whatever is buried. So the gross body is buried or burnt or cremated, but there is a subtle body which goes back, when the subtle body carries the impressions of this life, and the person gets a new life and he the subtle body gets inserted into the new body. Soul remains covered by this subtle body. So the soul remains covered by this subtle body of mind, intelligence, and ego, and it gets forward to the next body. The gross body is dead now, subtle body goes to the another body. So subtle body is having life airs also. Prana, Apana, Saman. So these 5 kind of airs will also be coming in the future verses. So these kind of life airs which are governing our body right now, when we die, these life airs go with subtle body, encapsulating the soul and goes to the another body. So in this way, Krishna is telling, do not lament for the gross body which is going to die here only, and do not lament for the subtle body which is mind, intelligence, and ego, because life airs will go with that subtle body, and you don't have to worry about the soul, because soul never dies and soul never takes birth. So that is being highlighted here. Natva ivaham jatu nasham natvam neme janadipa nacheva na bhavishyama sarve vayam ataparam. Somebody would like to recite this verse because this is very famous, and it is the verse which should be like noted down and learned and should be quoted whenever you meet someone who says there is a difference of opinion about the existence of soul. This verse can be quoted. Somebody wants to recite?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Yes.
Yes, one by one.
Na tu ebaham jatu nasam na tum neme janadhipa na chaiva na bhavishyama sarve vayam atah param.
Okay, once more. Someone else.
Natva evam jatu nasam natva naime janadipa na chaiva na bhavishyama sarvavayam ataparam.
Okay, last.
Hare Krishna. न तु एवहं जतु नासं न त्वं नेमि जनाधिपा न चैव न भविष्यामः सर्ववायम् अतः परम्.
Yes. You want to recite, Prabhu? Anyone else want to recite?
Hare
You
Krishna.
can take time. Yes, Prabhu.
Natu evaham jatu nasam natvam neme janadipa na chaiva na bhavishyama sarve vyayam ata param.
Okay. So this is very important verse. It highlights the importance of Vaishnava scriptures and how our existence is not temporary. We were existing earlier, we will exist now, and in future also after our death, the soul will never die and will exist again. So never have I not existed. Who is saying this, and who is this I? Never
I
have.
is not Krishna as Paramatma, Prabhuji? Hare Krishna.
So not as Paramatma, you can say Paramatma, you can say Supreme Lord Krishna is there. So he is saying, never have I not existed. There was never a time when Krishna was not there. Nor you. Who is this you?
Arjuna.
Arjuna. So neither the Arjuna nor Krishna, there was never time that they were not existing. So previously to this birth, which Krishna is right now instructing Arjuna, and somebody might say that Arjuna and Krishna are very eternal people. They are, one is a great devotee and another is a Supreme Lord. So they might be existing earlier also, they might be existing now. But Krishna says, nor these kings, these all kings who have assembled for fighting, all these soldiers who have assembled for fighting, they were also existing earlier. And Krishna says, in the future also, will we never not exist. In future also we will exist. So in the previous ages also we were existing. We are existing now also. And in future also we will exist. So there is no point in discussion more that soul individuality is never lost. The soul always remain individual. And after liberation also, when a person gets fully liberated or mukta jiva, So he still remains individual person, and he has a certain reciprocation with the Supreme Lord. He has certain rasa to be exchanged with the Supreme Lord. So bodies keep changing, our karmas keep changing, our subtle bodies keep changing, but the soul remains, and it takes newer and newer bodies. Some person who have done sinful activities, they will get a degraded body. Some persons who have done like good karmas, they will get good karmic bodies, but the devotee will get a spiritual body. And a spiritual body, when he gets, he keeps serving the Supreme Lord. So existence of soul is being highlighted here, that it never dies, the soul never dies. It was always existing, the bodies keep changing. This is the conclusion of this verse. Now, O friend, I will ask you a question. When you see the death of a person you love, you lament. When someone dies, you lament. But is the object of affection, while the person was there in this world, the soul or the body? So when the person dies, we lament. But when the person was present here, he was our object of affection when someone is present right now. So are you loving his soul or are you loving his body? That is a question being asked here. Are you loving his body or are you loving his soul? If the soul is the object of affection, the soul should not be the object of lamentation because it cannot suffer death. Lamentation only happens when we are attached to something which is being lost now. If you are attached to soul as an object of affection towards some person, then we don't have to lament only because the soul will never die. It will just disappear and appear somewhere else. As Shastra says, Shveta Shatrupnishad, Nityo Nityanam Chetanas Chetananam Eko Bahunam Yo Vidadhati Kamam. He is eternal among all eternal living entities and the chief conscious being among all conscious beings. It is being stated about the Supreme Lord that how he is the eternal among all eternal. Nityo Nityanam Chetanas Chetananam. Among the many living entities, he is the chief who fulfills their desires. Eko Bahunam Yovidhati Kaman. Kaman means desires. So all the living entities in this world desire. The Supreme Lord fulfills the desire of each and every living entity. That is being stated here. So Mayavadi theory says that after liberation, the individual soul separated by the covering of Maya or illusion will merge into the impersonal Brahman. So they say that our soul will merge and will lose its individual existence. So this is not being supported by Krishna herein. In this verse, he says that earlier also it was existing, future it will also exist, and now also existing. So this Mayavadi theory of becoming merged will not. Krishna is refuting this philosophy. Nor is the theory that we only think of individuality in the conditional state supported herein. Somebody might say that we are individual right now, and in the future, when we will become mukta or liberated, then we will merge and our existence will vanish. But that is not stated here by Krishna. Krishna says, no, our individuality will always remain. Krishna clearly says herein that in the future also, the individuality of the Lord and others, as it is confirmed in the Upanishads, will continue eternally. This statement of Krishna's is authoritative because Krishna cannot be subject to illusion. So somebody might say Krishna was under illusion, that's why he spoke this. No, Krishna never comes under illusion. He is the Supreme Lord and his statements are always authoritative. If individuality were not a fact, then Krishna would not have stressed it so much even for the future. So Krishna very tactfully and very intelligently said that in future also they will live. Because somebody might say, oh, I was existing earlier, now I'm also living. But after you die, you will still exist. After you get liberated, you will still exist. There is no point in merging. Those who say that we are going to merge, merging means that a collective pool of jivas. But again, those collective pool of jivas will again come into this world and become individuals. So in this way, individuality of a soul never leaves. Very famous verse. You must have heard in many of the Gita classes. So you can also recite after me. Dehino asmin yatha dehe kaumaram yovanam jara tatha dehantara praptir dhiras tatra namuhyati. You can all recite one by one.
देहिनोऽस्मिन् यथा देहे कौमारं यौवनं जरा तथा देहान्तरा प्राप्तिर्धीरास्तत्र न मुह्यति.
Okay, someone else.
प्रभुजी देहिनोऽस्मिन् यदा देहे कौमारं यौवनं जरा तदा देहान्तरप्राप्तिर्धीरस्तत्र न मुह्यते.
Okay. Last one.
देहिनस्मिन् यथा देहे कौमारं यौवनं जरा तथा देहान्तरप्राप्तिधीरस्तत्र न मुह्यते. Thank you, Prabhu.
So, Dehino Asmin Yatha Dehe, as a soul is residing in Deha, in this body. So, this is being stated here. It passes through different stages. So, the translation says here, as a soul passes through boyhood, youth, and old age, Kaumaram, Yauvanam, Jara. So, he attains another body at death. Tatha Dehantara Praptir, at the ant of a Deha and ant of a body. So soul passes to another body. So as the soul was passing from boyhood to youth and old age, we don't lament so much. Oh, we have become boyhood, or we have become youth today, we have lost our childhood. We don't lament so much. So why is there a person lamenting after the change of a body? The wise are not bewildered by this. Dhiras are those who are not bewildered by such a change. They are not muhyanti, they are not bewildered. They know the destination of a particular person, that if a person has performed devotion service nicely, so he will be having a nice destination also. So why there is a need of lamentation? Lamentation only happens in the circle of devotees because we will not be having association of that devotee now. Because the devotee has gone back to some place where he will be residing and living with Krishna, or some other place where he will be having association. We are missing his association. That's why you see there are some bhajans which have been written by Narottam Das Thakur and other acharyas, when they say that where is that Rupa Goswami, where is Sanatan Goswami, Jayani lo prema dhana, karuna prachur. So they say we are lamenting for their association because we are unfortunate to God. We are unfortunate that we didn't got their association. Not for the bodily attachment. Outside people, everyone is lamenting or crying because of bodily attachment. The devotees cry and lament only for association of great souls. So in this way, this verse is saying, one's body becomes the object of affection as it is related to the soul, which is most dear to the self. One's body becomes an object of affection. I'm in this body, I should look nice, everyone should treat me nicely. So that body becomes an object of affection. Because why this is affection is created? Because there is a relationship with the soul. Unless the soul is present in the heart, how can a person be affectionate to? We consider as dead and immediately we burn that body. So only because of presence of soul, there is an object of affection. There is a purpose of affection. By reflection, by relation with that body, one's sons, brothers, or other relatives becomes objects of affection. So the affection comes in a body because of the presence of soul, and then when there is a extended affection towards the brothers and sons and relatives, that is also coming because of the presence of the soul in ourselves and in the other bodies. And by relationship to them, even their sons also become objects of affection. So when their bodies perish, there will certainly be lamentation, because you have developed some affection because of the presence of the soul, and you have forgotten in your mind that this affection with the other body was because of the presence of the soul. So when this knowledge is not there and that body perishes, there will be lamentation. But with the destruction of youth and attaining old age, one does not lament. Somebody might say that Krishna is saying here, Krishna is saying that when you change your bodies from childhood to youth and youth to old age, you don't sit and lament. So why you are lamenting in the next stage of old age? But then again, with the destruction of boyhood and attainment of youth, one rejoices. You all are able to understand this flow? Because I hope these are not so technical. And with the destruction of worn out bodies of Bhishma and Drona, they will attain new bodies and will also become joyful. So here Krishna is kind of arguing with Arjuna that why you are lamenting for those bodies which are going to change from old age to next youth. They will be getting the bodies again. They are just giving their worn out bodies now. And Bhishma and Drona will again get their bodies. And when they will get their new bodies, they will be joyful. As you become joyful when you turn them to youth stage from boyhood. So as you become joyful from boyhood to youth, similarly, these old age people, they will also become joyful when they will attain a new body. So what is the difference between a living entity, living body, and a dead body? Every living body, be it human, bird, tree, reptile, or any other body, there are 6 changes all these bodies go through. They take birth, then there is a growth, then there is maintenance, production of byproducts, and dwindling and death. Again, the cycle goes on from birth, growth, maintenance, production, dwindling, death, again birth, growth. So this is the cycle which goes through in every species of life. So there will be different time factors for like someone's growth and time factor for maintenance and dwindling. Like some species die in few days only and some species die in few years. Cows, they grow very fast. In 1 or 2 years only you will see them so healthy and all. But a child grows so slow in 2 years. So different species have different cycles of this growth maintenance. But everybody goes through these 6 stages. So in this way, a wise person understand, a pandita understand that after death, again the birth will happen and a new body will be attained by this personality. Matra sparshastu kaunteya shitoshna sukha dukkada agama paino anityas tam titikshvasya bharata. Anyone wants to recite this verse? You must have heard this also.
Matra sparshastu kaunteya sitoshna sukha dukkada agamapiyano nitya tam stitikshava bharata.
So Arjuna might question to Krishna that you are saying that we are going to leave this body, Bhishma and Drona, we are going to leave this body, they are going to get new bodies, and when they will be getting new bodies, we should be happy that they are getting new bodies. So here Arjuna might ask Krishna, but I am having a relationship with this current body. Bhishma, whatever body he is having right now, I am having a relationship with that body. Although I will be happy that Bhishma and Drona will get a new body after this, but my lamentation is that I am not able to get this body again with whom I am having a relationship right now. So Krishna answers in this verse. O son of Kunti, the experience of the sense object gives sensations of cold and hot, happiness and distress, always temporary and appearing and disappearing. O Bharata, tolerate these experiences of sense objects. So Arjuna questioned this to Krishna that I am having attachment to this body. So Krishna says, yes, because your senses and perceptions are attached to this body, and this body will go away and the new body will come up, and you will not be having the same relationship right now as you are having with Bhishma. But you should understand the experience of these senses is very temporary, and they will be keep on appearing and disappearing. These experiences, they are like the cold and the hot, and happiness and distress. So just tolerate them. These changes of life, just tolerate them. So in two verses, this 14 and 15, Krishna will actually tell how to tolerate these changes, whether in the body or the current scenario of our life. But we have to tolerate the experiences of the sense objects. Let there be no lamentation caused by sorrow concerning Bhishma's existence in the future after he dies. Krishna is telling this to Arjuna. Don't be having a feeling of sorrow or lamentation after the Bhishma's existence when he will die. So, but I lament because of the grief caused by the separation from him. I will not be having a relationship with him because he will not be existing no more. He will not be there with me. So I'm having a grief because of this. And thus my senses are mind and burning. So Krishna says, perceptions bestow sensations of what called happiness and distress. You're having a perception of this personality right now, Bhishma and Drona. So these are like hot and cold. You have to tolerate these kind of seasons. When there is too hot, right now it's very hot in here where I'm living, and we have to tolerate. And soon the rainy season will come, and rainy season will be like pouring down anything. So we have to tolerate. And the winters will come, we have to tolerate. Nothing we can do. We can just have some temporary arrangements of here in GV we can't have ACs also, but other places you can have some arrangements. And in cold you have to tolerate. You can have some blanket, but still toleration should be there. And happiness and distress. So similarly, you are having a lamentation mood because of passing away of Bhishma right now. But you have to tolerate these changes. This is what Krishna is telling to Arjuna. Cold water which is in the summer gives pleasure, gives pain in the winter. Tolerate these temporary experiences since they appear and disappear, since they are uncertain. They are uncertain. So we have to tolerate only. They can come at any time. Now the seasons are also uncertain. We have to tolerate. In most of the Western countries, the seasons are very like uncertain. Sometimes it rains, sometimes it becomes very cold, and sometimes it's sunny. So this is the thing, that we have to tolerate the dualities of this life. But a person who is not bewildered, who is not disturbed by these changes, he is called a liberated person. This is what stated in 15th verse. Yamhina vyathayanti ete purusham purusharishva samadukha sukham dhiram swamritatvaya kalpate. O best of men, the person who applies his intelligence to dharma. Yamhina vyathayanti ete purusham purusharishva samadukha sukham dhiram. So dhiram person, dhir purush is the person who applies his intelligence in the direction of dharma, for whom the experience of the sense object by the senses does not disturb. He is not disturbed whether there is a change of season or whether a change of body, or whether there is a change of happiness or distress. He is fit for liberation. This is what stated here. He is a person fit for liberation because he is equipoised in happiness and distress. Practicing tolerance with this discernment, the experience of the sense objects will, with passage of time, not give distress at all. When a person uses his intelligence perfectly, or whatever understanding he has from the Shastras, when he has that discernment in his mind because of the study of the Shastras, as we are reading right now also, we are learning Bhagavad-Gītā and how Krishna is speaking such beautiful philosophy. So when this intelligence is there, then the tolerance and proper direction of the mind will also happen. And whenever such incidents will come in our life, we have this discernment in our mind, which we have learned from the scripture. And the objects of different sense objects will not distress us, because this knowledge of The scripture will be there with us. It is also stated in Bhagavatam, Chindanti Kovidastasya Konu Kuryat Kathadati, that a person who has developed properly his intelligence to the study of the Shastras, he has sharpened his mind and intelligence. He will be able to discriminate in this world what is good for him, what is bad for him, how he has to move forward in his different directions, different decisions. He will follow the path of dharma. So in this way, he is fit for liberation, even though he is living in this world, but he is fit for total liberation. So when a person reaches this state where there is no distress from the objects of the senses, liberation of the Atma is close at hand. Prabhupada used to say that we can consider our liberated state just in seconds. Just fully surrender to Krishna, apply your intelligence in reading his words, speaking his words. As Lord Nityananda Prabhu says, Bhaja Gauranga, Kaho Gauranga, Loho Gaurangira Namare. Let's speak about Gauranga, tell other about Lord Gauranga, and chant his names. So immediately liberation is at our next doorstep. It's very close. One is very qualified for having such a state because he is perfect in his practice of devotional service. Nasate vidyate bhavo na bhavo vidyate sata ubhyorapi drishtavantas tav anyos tattvadarshibhi. There is no permanent existence for the body. There is no permanent existence for the body because body keeps changing. That's why it's called as asata. Na asato vidyate bhavo. There is no permanent existence of the body. The first line of this verse says. No change for the soul. Na abhavo vidyate sata. So asata and sata. Asata means the body which is nashwar, doesn't have a permanent existence. Soul is anashwar, so it doesn't change only. Na abhavo vidyate sata. Those who see things as they are, tattvadarshi, realize this conclusion about both of these. So those who are having the knowledge of the Shastras, they will realize this fact that how these bodies are not a permanent existence. As Yudhishthira Maharaj used to say in Mahabharata, that what is the most astonishing thing for him to see in this world is ahani ahani bhutani gachanti yamalayam, that many people are every day going towards the yamloka. Still those who are here, they think that they will not die one day. This is the most astonishing thing. So Tattvadarshi people, those who are intelligent, they use this realization and they think this is the conclusion for them that there is no permanent existence for the body and there is no change for the soul. Avinashi tu tad vidhi yena sarvam idam tatam vinasham avyayasya na kaschid kartum arhati. So this is the knowledge of the soul which is going on from 11th to we have reached to 17th. Know that it is indestructible. Avinashi tu tad vidhi. Avinash. Vinash means to destruct something. Avinashi means that you cannot destroy anything. Tu tad vidhi. You know this for certain, O Arjuna, that the soul will never get destroyed. Soul is pervaded in the body. Yena sarvam idam tatam. How the soul is pervaded in the body? As part of consciousness. If we pinch anywhere in our body, we'll feel the pinch in our mind and we can immediately take some actions. If a thorn gets pricked in our feet, so immediately we come to know. So this is the consciousness which is pervaded in the entire body. This consciousness is coming from soul, which is there in the heart. No one can destroy that which is indestructible. So avinashi tu tad vidhi yena sarvam idam tatam. Vinasham avyayasya, the thing which is never going to destroy, how can somebody think that he can destroy? So similarly, Arjuna, right now you are thinking that these people who are standing in front of you, as Drona and Bhishma, you think that you will destroy them, they will not exist only. But this is not the fact. They are having soul which is going to the next body, and these things, that soul will never get destroyed. So just the change of body will happen. And how much this soul actually measures? Keshagre Shatabhagas, Balagre Shatabhagas. Somewhere Prabhupada states that this Keshagre, here Balagre Shatabhagasya Shatada Kalpitasya cha Bhago Jivo Sa Vigneya. Please understand what is this measurement of soul. Somebody says that I will destroy the soul also. You understand how much is this soul factor is. Balagre Shatabhagasya. One should know that the jiva is the size of 1/10,000 of the tip of the hair. If a tip of the hair can be considered and 1,000 parts are done, the tip of the hair, smaller than that also is the jivatma. So there is nothing contradictory in being saying small and pervading the body. So this small particle which is there considered as the tip of the hair, 10,000 part of the tip of the hair, is pervading the whole body. So there should not be some contradiction in this or in an understanding of this fact that this small particle is actually pervading the whole body. There is no point in discussion or contradictory thing in this fact that the small part in the heart, Sarvasya Chaham Hidi Sannivishto, Krishna says in Bhagavad-Gītā, I am situated in everyone's heart. So this whole body is being eliminated and the whole energy is flowing in the body because of that small part. So in this way, this 18th verse says, Antavanta ime deha nityasyukta sharirina anashino aprameyasya tasmad yuddhasva bharata. The body is belonging to the eternal soul, which is the indestructible and very small. This body which we are having right now, they are belonging to this eternal soul. And the soul is indestructible and very small. These bodies are considered to be temporary. Antavanta ime deha. Therefore, these bodies are very temporary, so you fight. The bodies of the jiva are said to have a destructible nature. Previously, Krishna said that the soul doesn't have soul is indestructible. But here in this verse, Krishna says the bodies are having destructible nature. Because the very fine nature of the jiva and because it is the knower in the consciousness, the jiva cannot be known by material methods. The jiva atma, which is part of Supreme Lord, is having a very finite nature. And very fine nature it has, as the Supreme Lord has. And this small fine jiva, a small particle of Supreme Lord, is having the knowledge of the entire body which is we are possessing, and it is pervading everywhere in the body, this jiva. And this cannot be understood by any material method which the scientist can use or some logician might use to understand the presence of this soul. This can also only be understood by reading the scriptures, by personally experiencing those practices, and then this experience can be there of the soul present in the body. Because the jiva and his body have such natures. Jiva is eternal, body is destructible. So neither the jiva nor his body is worthy of lamentation. Arjuna, you are lamenting. For whom are you lamenting? Jiva, but jiva is always eternal. You are lamenting for the body. Body is all anyhow going to destroy. In this way, both ways you don't have to lament. The spirit soul is so minute that it cannot even be seen by an enemy. To say nothing of being killed. You are thinking that you will kill them, or you are going to be killed. But this soul is so minute that it cannot be seen only by the enemy. Okay, we will end here. If somebody has some questions or comments, we can take now. Or we will meet next week, same time.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu.
You say we discussed about that Arjuna has a relationship with the Dronacharya as a bodily.
Okay.
That means that he has a relationship with the soul is a permanently?
See, body is we are having some relationship with the body.
Correct.
But the relationship with the soul to another soul is permanent based on the fact that we are all eternal part of Supreme Lord. So anybody whom you are not knowing only, even if you consider some unknown person or some another even religion also, some other religious person also, somebody practicing which is not part of our Vedic system, even that person, by our philosophy, we understand there is a soul inside him, and we are having our relationship with him as a part and parcel of Supreme Lord. But this understanding is only missing between him and us, that we are brothers based on this fact that we are coming from the same source. So yes, Duryodhana and Dronacharya, everybody was part and parcel of Supreme Lord. But Arjuna is now, by Krishna's grace, he is getting this knowledge that everyone is a part and parcel. But Dronacharya was already learned and he was very dedicated towards Krishna's teachings. But somehow, like Bhishma, he was stuck up in the Duryodhana party. But Duryodhana was not able to understand such philosophy, but others were knowing. And they had relationship with each other based on this fact that we are part and parcel of Supreme Lord only.
Okay,
I
Prabhu.
hope it answered, Prabhu.
Yeah. Means we have to see everybody is the same. Should not be having any differences,
Yeah.
whether it has a color or.
If a person starts seeing everybody on the same level, as a soul level, he is actually on the liberated platform.
Correct. We should be endeavor for that.
Yeah, we should endeavor, even if we are not reaching there, but at least we should keep on endeavoring on this path.
Yeah. Okay, Prabhu. Okay.
Thank you, Prabhu. Anybody else has some comments or questions?
Yes, Hare Krishna Prabhuji, this 2.10, it says that the Lord says that I am always there. So then how we can relate that, Prabhuji?
2.12 you are saying? 2.12?
No, 2.12, yes.
Yeah, 2.12. Lord says that I was existing and all the souls were also existing. This same verse, no?
Yes, and and I will be existing in the
In future
future.
also I will exist. So yes, Lord will also exist. We are also existing. Neither the Lord loses his individuality, and our individuality is also because of Lord only. We are part and parcel of Supreme Lord. So our individuality will also remain. Even if we become liberated, Vaishnavas never lose their individualities. Some people might say that we are going to merge someday. Okay, you can have merging philosophy for some time, because after merging, the collective jivas, the sum total of jivas will again come back to this world to experience the rasa, that which they are not getting in Brahman also. So the highest rasa is experienced in 5 major forms. So unless the soul who is hankering for this reciprocation towards the Lord, that is not fulfilled, till that time, individuality of a jiva with the relationship with the Lord will always happen. Because merging will also not give such a result what a relationship with Supreme Lord gives. I hope it answered, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Babuji, but I mean, the Lord is saying that I am always there. So means he's not there as a physical presence, right?
Okay, you are saying that right now Lord is not there with us.
I mean, means actually like he was present during the
Yeah,
war,
like he was
with
present
Arjuna.
earlier during the war. Right now, the Lord is not present with us. Is this your question? Like physically, he doesn't exist with us.
Like he was directly guiding
Yeah.
Arjuna in the war. Yeah.
So what is Lord is stating here is not of this planet only, but about the entire existence of the universe and entire cosmic creation. So Lord is existing somewhere right now, physically also. And right now, with us, He's present in the form of holy name, in the form of deity worships. Wherever deities are worshipped nicely, He's reciprocating everywhere. Like we go to Mayapur, we go to Vrindavan, and all the dhams where the Supreme Lord is gorgeously worshipped. There He is present in the form of a deity. And every day when we chant our 16 rounds, so that is also Lord present with us right now. Although some people will find out reciprocation with the Supreme Lord in terms of some gestures from the Supreme Lord, but otherwise his glance is enough. His glance towards us is enough for our reciprocation. Whatever we do, he is watching us, that is enough for us. Like when Krishna was leaving Hastinapur, so all the ladies went up to the top, they started praying. They were not physically very close to Krishna, but Krishna was glancing at them. So the glance was enough for them to survive. Similarly, when we are in front of deities and we are chanting holy name, the glance of Supreme Lord is enough for us to understand actually that Krishna is right now present. But physically, he is present somewhere else, performing his pastime. There are unlimited universes in cosmic creation. He is present always in his Supreme Lord abode, Golok or Vrindavan. So he is already there, always there actually. So he is present physically in all those places, and everywhere in some part of this cosmic creation, he is performing his pastimes physically present and everybody can see. So in Vrindavan, he is present sometime as in Pratyakshrup, that everybody can see him. And right now in Vrindavan, he is present as in Apratyakshrup, where he will not be seen as physically, but his consciousness is pervading in Vrindavan. And if we chant nicely and pray to the Supreme Lord, that Vrindavan consciousness can be present at every place where the devotion is fructifying. So yes, he is not present physically, but he is present somewhere physically. And right now, consciously, he is present with us. Okay, bro?
Yeah, Haribol, Prabhuji, Haribol.
Okay. Someone has some other comments or question, or we'll try to end here. Thank you so much for joining. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, let us thank Prabhuji by chanting Haribol 3 times. Haribol, Haribol, Haribol.
Hari bol, Hari bol.
Hare Krishna.